Rich Dad's Entrepreneurial Lesson Number 10. Know when to quit. Rich Dads Before You Quit Your Job by Robert Kiyosaki. Chapter 10. The Summary. Knowing when to quit. That you do not like your job is not a reason to become an entrepreneur. It may sound like a good reason, but it is not a strong enough reason. It definitely lacks a strong enough mission. Although almost everyone can become an entrepreneur, entrepreneurship is not for everyone. There is an old saying that goes, "Winners never quit and quitters never win." Personally, I do not agree with that saying. It is too simple. In my reality, a winner also knows when to quit. Sometimes in life, it is best to cut your losses. It is best to admit you have come to a dead end or to admit you have been barking up the wrong tree. In my opinion, a quitter is someone who quits simply because things have gotten tough. I have been a quitter many times in my life. I have quit diet programs, exercise programs, girlfriends, businesses, books, studies, and so on. Every year I make New Year's resolutions and quit. So I know what quitting is and that I am a quitter. One of the reasons I did not quit my process in becoming an entrepreneur was that I really wanted to be one. I wanted it badly. I wanted to enjoy the freedom, the independence, the wealth, and the ability to make a contribution to this world that a successful entrepreneur has. In spite of how badly I wanted to become a successful entrepreneur, the powerful concept of quitting was always right in front of me, holding the door open. It would have been easy to quit when I was out of money and owed a lot of money. It would have been easy to quit every time a creditor demanded payment. It would have been easy to quit when the tax department let me know that I owed more in back taxes. It would have been easy to quit when a project failed or a potential partner walked out of the deal. When things were tough, quitting was always lurking nearby, just a handshake away. For me, becoming an entrepreneur is a process I am still in. I believe I will be an entrepreneur in training till the end. I love business and I love solving business problems. There have been times I have cut my losses, shut a business down, changed directions, but when it came to the process of becoming an entrepreneur, I have never quit, at least not yet. It is a process I love. It is a process that brings me the kind of life I want. So although the process has been tough for me, it has been worth it. Also, that it was tough for me does not mean it needs to be tough for you. One reason for writing this book is that I want to make the process easier for anyone who is about to start the process or is already in the process. Before ending this book, I thought I would leave you with one little thing that kept me going. It was the glow in the dark, even in the darkest of hours. I had a little piece of paper taped to the base of the telephone in my office at the wallet company. That little piece of paper came from a Chinese fortune cookie. It said, "You can always quit. Why start now?" There were many phone calls I had to handle that provided me with more than enough reason for me to quit. Yet after hanging up the phone, I would glance at the words of wisdom from the fortune cookie and say to myself, as much as I want to quit, I won't quit today. I'll quit tomorrow. The good thing is, tomorrow never came. Before you quit your job, we offer these tips. 1. Check your attitude. Attitude is almost everything. We don't recommend becoming an entrepreneur just to make money. There are far easier ways to make money. If you do not love business and the challenges a business offers, then entrepreneurship may not be for you. 2. Get as much experience as possible on 5 levels of the BI triangle. In earlier books, we advised people to work to learn, not work to earn. Instead of taking jobs for the money, take jobs for the experience. For example, if you want to gain experience in how business systems work, get a part-time job at McDonald's. You would be surprised at what happens the moment a customer says, "I want a Big Mac and fries." The moment that happens, one of the world's best designed business systems takes over. It is a brilliantly designed system run primarily by people with only a high school education. 3. Always remember that sales equals income. All entrepreneurs need to be good in sales. If you are not good in sales, get as much experience as possible before you quit your job. I heard Donald Trump once say, "Some people are born salespeople." the rest of us can learn to sell. I am not a natural salesperson. I did train hard to become one. If you want really great sales training, you may want to consider joining a network marketing business or a direct sales business. 4. Be optimistic as well as brutally honest with yourself. In his book Good to Great, Jim Collins does an excellent piece on this need to be brutally honest. He writes about his interviews with Admiral Stockwell, one of the longest-held POWs from the Vietnam War. When Jim Collins asked the admiral which type of person died in their cells, the admiral answered without hesitation, the optimists. The POWs who did survive were those who could handle the brutal facts about their situation. On the flip side, know the difference between being brutally honest and being pessimistic. I know people who will tell you why something will not work even if it's working. I know people who store in their mind every piece of negative news possible. Negative people, or pessimistic people, are not the same as brutally honest people. 5. How are you at spending money? Too many people struggle financially because they do not know how to spend their money. Too many people spend their money and it never comes back. An entrepreneur needs to know how to spend money and have more money come back. It is not about being cheap, tight, or frugal. It's about knowing when to spend, what to spend on, and how much to spend. I have seen too many entrepreneurs go broke saving money. For example, when business drops off, instead of spending money on more promotions, the entrepreneur cuts back hoping to save money. When this happens, business continues to drop off. This is an example of the wrong action, at the wrong time. 6. Start a business to practice on. No one can learn to ride a bicycle without a bicycle, and no one can learn to start, build, and run a business without a business. Once you are familiar with the different parts of the BI triangle, stop planning and start doing. As I have always said, keep your full-time job and start a part-time business. 7. Be willing to ask for help. Rich Dad often said, arrogance is the cause of ignorance. If you don't know something, ask someone who does know. On the flip side, don't be a pest and ask for too much help. There is a fine line between help and a crutch. 8. Find a mentor. Rich Dad was my mentor. I have had many other mentors. Read books about great entrepreneurs such as Edison, Ford, and Gates. Books can be your best mentors. The Rich Dad Company has a mentoring program known as Rich Dad Coaching. The coaches on the other side of the phone are entrepreneurs, investors, and great coaches. Hire them to keep you on track to getting what you want from your life. One of my favorite entrepreneurs is Steve Jobs, founder of Apple Computer and Pixar. Not only do I like his style, I love the culture of his business. One of the most important things an entrepreneur can build is a business with a strong culture. As stated earlier, at the Rich Dad Company we work hard to foster and protect a culture of learning and free expression. 9. Join an entrepreneur's network. Birds of a feather do flock together. Every city I have ever lived in has groups or associations of entrepreneurs. Attend their meetings and find one that fits your needs. Surround yourself with fellow entrepreneurs. They are there for support as well as to be supported. Contact your SBA, the Small Business Administration, or your local Chamber of Commerce for a schedule of meetings and seminars. They are great sources of information as well as resources for entrepreneurs. One group I have been impressed with is the YEO, the Young Entrepreneurs Organization. Although I am too old to belong to this group of young men and women, I have been asked to speak at several of their chapters. I have always been impressed with the quality of young person this organization attracts. 10. Be faithful to the process. One reason why many people do not quit their jobs and become entrepreneurs is that entrepreneurship can be extremely challenging, especially when first starting out. I suggest you follow the basics of the BI triangle and diligently do your best to master all 8 categories of the triangle. It takes time, but if you are successful, the rewards can be immense. As Rich Dad said, entrepreneurship is a process, not a job or profession. So be faithful to the process and remember that even when times are bad, the process will give you a glimpse of the future that lies ahead. Over the years, I have heard many people use the term BHAG, which stands for Big Hairy Audacious Goal. While having a big hairy goal is commendable, I believe the process and the size of the mission are more important than the goal. Rich Dad drew for his son and me a diagram that looked like this. He said, if you are going to have a big goal, you need a strong mission to push you through the process. With a strong mission, anything is attainable. Thank you for reading this book, and we wish you the best of success if you should decide to become an entrepreneur or are already an entrepreneur.